Good morning if you're just joining in. So this is the chair yoga class, just so you're aware. We are using a chair as our prop. And you might want a strap, or belt, dog leash, hands tie, anything will work. It doesn't have to be a very fancy yoga strap. And I have a yoga block, but really you can do anything that we do without it. But if you have one, you can have it handy. So just if you're new to the chair, this version of chair yoga, I do actually stand up and use the chair in standing. If you're unable to stand or don't feel comfortable standing today, you can always do the practice seated in your chair, or if you need to, your wheelchair. So I'm just going to share an inspiration that I found. I often share this with my persistent pain yoga therapy workshops, and I just was reading it as I was preparing for something and felt that it was very pertinent for right now. So it's from Pema Children, When Things Fall Apart. You might be familiar with her. We could say that looking for alternatives is the only thing that keeps us from real mind than we have. Keeps us from realizing that we could stand with pride in the middle of our life and realize it's a sacred mandala. We have such a deep tendency to want to squirm out of it like a beetle on a pin. We squirm and try to get away from just being on the dot. We think that the point is to pass the test or overcome the problem, but the truth is that things don't ever really get solved. They come together and they fall apart. They come together and they fall apart again. It's just like that. The healing comes from letting there be room for all of this to happen. Room for grief, room for relief, for misery, and for joy. I just think some of these kind of spiritual teachings can be so pertinent for any time, really. You kind of feel like, oh, this is a perfect, like, how serendipitous for that to come up. But really, these are teachings for life, right? All right, let's check our time. Couple more minutes here, I'll wait. So just if you're just joining, just settling in and getting comfortable in your seat, this is again chair yoga this morning. Settling into your seat. If you're just joining us again, this is chair yoga. Welcome. You may want a strap, a belt, dog leash, tie, long stretchy pants. Anything might work. And if you don't have those, don't worry about it. Just don't let that be a reason that you don't practice today. All right, let's get started. So, getting comfortable in your seat with your feet on the floor, whatever surface they might be resting on. We'll start with a little bit of mindful movement, drifting the shoulders up towards your ears on your in-breath. Squeeze, and then release on your out-breath. Let them drop back and down. If you'd like a few more, you're welcome to continue. If you're ready to settle in, just letting those shoulders drop away from the ears rising up from the shoulders. Eyes can be closed or open in a steady gaze. Whatever helps you to tune out to the distractions and tune into your body and your breath. Beginning to become aware of your feet resting on whatever surface they're on. Maybe noticing your big toes and your little toes and your heels to the backs of your thighs on the seat, to your sit bones. And notice if one sit bone is feeling a little heavier or weighted than the other. Do they feel pretty balanced? And if they don't, what do you have to do to find that centered space right in the middle? So that from that space you can rise up. And so each part of your spine is just getting a little bit more space between the next. At the top or the crown of the head rising, and then the chin dropping in ever so slightly. We're trying to create that length, letting go of the rigidity or the need to kind of overdo. Yeah. So you get tall and then soften a little. In the centered space of body, let's begin to check in with our other senses. Noticing the sounds of the room, maybe the sound of your own breath. Sensation of the air flowing in and out the tips of the nostrils. You may notice on the way in, it's a little bit different temperature as it drifts to the back of the throat than the temperature that's heading out to that space right at your upper lip. Start to find a rhythm to our breath. And if you like, you can have one hand on your belly, one hand over your heart space, if that helps you to kind of check in with your body. If not, hands in the lap is fine. So on your next breath in, I'll invite you to count silently or out loud the number 1. And on your next breath out, 1. Next breath in, 2. Next breath out, 2. Continue your count up towards 10. When you find your mind has strayed and wandered off, start over again at 1. I say it's not a punishment, it's a practice. Next exhale, just letting go of the practice or the count, wherever you've gotten, doesn't matter how far you got to 10. And take a full breath in and out. Just notice the state of your mind and body. Alright, before we head any farther, we'll set our intention for the day. So let's bring palms together perhaps, or if they can stay in your lap, wherever you like them, to set your intention. How are you going to show up towards today, towards yourself, towards each other, towards the planet, or something that includes all 3. Alright, if the palms are not already together, let's meet there in the middle. And we're going to spread the fingers out as wide as they can go. The base of your palms heading down towards your belly button. And when they start to feel uncomfortable or your palms just start to spread open, that's your stop point. So your stop point might be here, it might be down lower. Elbows out, chest rising. Okay, full breath in and out, a little bit of pressure here. Okay. We'll keep the pressure as we reach up towards the sky. In breath. As always, practicing your ahims or your non-violence, so stopping the motion whenever it doesn't feel okay anymore. Elbows coming down by your side, squeezing the shoulder blades together. 2 more on your own rhythm. You also practice that contentment and being content with wherever you are in your practice today, and that it might be different than last week, last month, 20 years ago. Okay, pausing here, and then we'll head the opposite direction. Span out to cactus arms, reach up towards the sky, in breath, palms together. A little bit of pressure as you come down the center. 2 more. And we'll meet here in the middle, palms together, elbows out. A little bit of pressure, just enough, not too much. All right, when you're ready, clasp those hands and find some ease in this sideways figure 8. You're painting this figure 8 or infinity sign if that resonates with you. Center of the figure 8 becomes your next stop point, and then head the other direction. I promise there is another direction. All right, we'll come to pause in the center. I'm going to invite you to flip the palms forward. If that doesn't feel okay, please don't flip. And we're going to reach up towards the sky, and you stop wherever it feels okay for your shoulders. In breath. Out breath, you're going to re-flip the hands, round the shoulders, maybe drop the head a little bit. On your next inhale, hands. Re-flip, round out, exhale. Hands to belly, draw in, inhale. We'll meet back in the center. Shake off a little bit. Oh, okay. Let's start on the other side. So our left hand to chest space. And we'll span open to the left, gazing out to the left. Inhale. No. And exhale, come back across, gaze out to the right. Good. Again, aren't you supposed to talk to your plants? I've been trying to. All right, come back across. Next time out, we'll hold it there. So arm out to the left, or maybe you're reaching from the elbow, that's okay too. Looking out to the left. Take your right hand to the side of the chair. Drop your right shoulder out of your ear as you start to bring the left arm up and over, and take your gaze down towards the right. Good. Hand can always be on your hip too if that feels better. Maybe one more breath. Press your left sit bone down into your seat. And then exhale, we'll meet back in the middle. Good. Shake out of it. All right, let's head through a few more of our spinal motions. So we'll head into a seated cat and cow. I'll show it first for the front, and then I'll turn to the side. So it does maybe help to be a little bit scooched forward in your seat if you're able to. On your next exhale, you're going to tuck the tailbone a little bit, maybe round into the mid upper back, let the head drop. Flip the palms upward, slide them across your thighs. Untuck the tailbone, open up the chest, maybe lift the chin. Okay, so that's your cat and your cow. Keep going on your own rhythm if you know this pretty well. Just going to show from the side what that might look like. Good. Last time we'll come and meet back in the middle. So let's head into a bit of a hula here. I should bring out my hula hoop, but I don't think I could do it seated. That would be challenging. All right, so we're gonna head over to what I call one sit bone, but head over to your right hip, forward towards the front of your seat, over towards your left hip, and then back towards your tailbone. And then keep heading around in that circle as though you're trying to circle around a clock. If you were sitting on a clock and you were trying to circle around and touch each number on the clock. And then if it feels okay and you enjoy this, you can start to make it a little bit more of a movement with your upper body where you're getting that into it. And you can certainly stay more centered in your seat. Just ask that you're breathing, and then we'll start to make it a little bit smaller and a little bit smaller and a little bit smaller. And until we come back to center into stillness for a pause. And then we head the other direction. So we head over to your left hip first, forward, right hip, back. And again, you can keep it small and tall. There's nothing wrong with that. It can actually feel really good in your pelvis or your low back. Or you can make it big and broad, your choice. All right, and then we'll start to make it a little bit smaller and a little bit smaller and a little bit smaller until we come back to center, find stillness. Great. All right, I'm gonna head to child's pose or wisdom pose. If you have a block or a step stool or something you wanna bring in front of you, you can. If you've been to class with me live before, take the legs out wide. So I'll show different versions. This might be your child's pose. Maybe you don't wanna go any lower than that. Maybe you want to go to the block or step stool in front of you on any level, or maybe you're welcome to go to the feet or the floor. So I'm just going to go to the in-between version for you. So allow the head to relax, take a full breath in, let your belly spill outward. Exhale, mouth open, maybe a ha sound. Think of the ocean spray coming in. And then when you're ready, if you're not already there, slowly start to walk back up. Your head's the last thing to join you, just so you don't get dizzy. All right, I'm gonna set that block away and bring in the strap or belt, or whatever prop you've got. And if you don't have one, don't worry about it. So again, it does help if you're able to scoot forward in the front of your seat. If you're not, just make do. You can always make do. All right, so we're gonna strap the right foot, send the left foot out, left foot straight, heel down, toes coming towards you if that's available. If not, just try to go into something that looks similar to this. Okay, so we're gonna sit up tall. I'm gonna invite you to bend into that side, but you'll see my spine is tall, I'm not just collapsing. Down to the right, left hand down to the right, looking down to the right, and then start to sweep that arm up and over. Big sunrise. And then back and over, sunset. Turn the palm up, draw the shoulder blade back as you come back, bow and arrow. Okay. So 2 more times to that same series, elbow hand version. Yeah, very similar, right? Doesn't really matter how deep you go or far you reach. Keep sitting up tall. Flip the palm back to bow and arrow, and then we're going to extend that arm all the way out. This time I'm going to have you just keep looking down to the right if that feels okay. So we're going to get a little stretch out of those left neck muscles. Keep sitting up tall, reaching through the heel. One more breath. Good. Bring that left hand back to your belly, and then exhale, rise up. We'll swing that leg back in, or get it back however you can safely, and flip side. So I just like to slip right into the left foot strap for an easy switch. Okay, so right leg bent, left leg out straight, heel reaching away, toes coming towards you, sitting up tall. You're pulling on that strap to give you a little traction. Okay, and we'll start our sunrise sunset. So gazing down to the left leg, right hand down to the left, sweeping up and over, and again, do the bent elbow version if that would feel better for you today. Good, sunset. We'll flip the right palm up, draw the shoulder blade back, bow and arrow. Drive it through, and again, rising up and over. Good, last one. Flip the palm, come into bow and arrow, and then reach that right arm out. You're going to keep your gaze down to the left. And again, you could bend that right elbow if that feels more comfortable. One more breath. Okay. Right hand to the belly, exhale your way back up. We'll help that leg back in. We can let go of the strap for the moment. And let's just shake out a little bit. I feel like my back needs a little bit. So just, make some little adjustments if that feels good. All right. And we'll head to warrior 2 pose here. So let's take the right leg out, left leg is bent. This time the foot's more or less towards the floor, meaning not heel down, toes up. All right. Start here in the center, palms together, elbows out, creating that little bit of pressure to the hands. We're going to slide the fingers forward, span across. You're trickling your hands through that glassy pond. Gaze out to the left, pause, and then slide back across. Meet the palms in the middle. If it feels safe to close the eyes and touch the hands together without looking at them, give that a try as you pull the hands back to center. 2 more times. Out left, pausing, and then coming back to center again, meeting the palms together without looking at them if possible. It's a good practice of knowing where your body is in space. Like when you walk around a dark room and you kind of just know where things are and not to hit them. Hopefully. All right, this last time out we're going to pause here, hold. Let's turn the palms, split them up. It's kind of like you're holding something in your hands, a little, I don't know why I think of like a little pile of sand for some reason. I live near the beach, so maybe that's why. Soften the shoulders, gaze out to the left, 1 more breath. We'll flip the back palm, face it down, take it down the back thigh, and begin to reach that left arm to the sky. If that doesn't feel great, just lift from the elbow and reach the fingertips, or you can even have that front left hand on your thigh. So extended or exalted warrior. 1 more breath. Press through your sit bones, lift back to warrior 2, arms, palms facing up. Flip the palms down and slide back across the pond. Meet the hands in the middle and back to center. 1 full breath here. All right, we'll ease out, swing that leg back in. Do a little adjustments if you need it before we head to the other side. So we'll take the left foot out, right knee is bent. Meet in the middle. Great. So we're going to slide the fingertips forward. Span out across the pond as you're taking your right arm out, gaze out to the right. A pause, and then we'll slide back across. Palms meet together, and then we're back in the center. Good. 2 more. Go at your own pace. Meet in the middle without looking if possible. Good. Last one out, we're going to hold it there. Good. Flip the palms up like you're holding that. I don't know. Just decide what you're going to hold in there. Maybe it's a dumpling. A matzo ball. I don't know. Soften the shoulders, gaze out to the right. All right, we'll flip the back palm, face it down, take it down the back leg and reach the front arm to the sky. Maybe look up, maybe don't. Maybe don't reach at all. Maybe just rest your front arm on your thigh. Lots of options, make it nourishing. 1 more breath, press through your sit bones to reach. Exhale back to warrior 2, arms, palms facing up. Flip the palms down and slide back across. Meet the palms in the middle. Meet palms together, a little bit of pressure, 1 full breath. All right, and then we'll ease out. Walk that leg back in and do any little adjustments with your body before we come back to center. I'm going to move to standing. If you would like to or able to, please join me there. You can do any of the poses while in seated, or if you happen to be in a wheelchair and you need to stay seated, that's okay too. All right, so if you're joining me in standing, or even if you're not, you can just prepare like you were going to standing and then just don't end up there. So feet about hip width apart, start to lean in, chin draws in, And either use hands to thighs, release them forward, or use your chair to exhale to rise up slowly. Great. I'm going to position myself behind the chair if you so need it for a little bit of extra balance or support. So now I'm still on the camera. Awesome. Okay. So let's spread the feet out a bit wide so we'll come into starfish. If it feels okay to let go of the chair, the surface that you're holding onto, great. If not, keep a hand there. And you're just going to show the version without. So palms reaching, soften the shoulders on the inhale, we're reaching up. Exhale, palms down. Keep eyes open if that would help you be more steady. Last one. Good. Reach the hands down by your sides. I'm going to hold on to the chair with my left hand and then reach the right arm up. If you don't need to hold on to the chair, that's okay. I'm going to gaze down to the left. And then we're going to come back to center. So this is just like seaweed, but just a little bit different. So I'm going to hold on to the chair with my right hand, go up and look down towards the right. Good. Just one more to each side. This could look like this too if you just wanted to bring the hand to the hip. All options are open. Last one, going to the right. All right. Relax the shoulders, we'll come back in, maybe heel toe, step it back to center. I'm just going to turn my chair, but you don't need to, just so you can see what I'm doing. Feet are going to go about hip width apart. Again, your hips are this bony part here, these headlights, these bones that are sticking forward, not your fleshy stuff, okay? So don't, when I talk about hip width apart, that's what I mean. All right. And then maybe pick up your toes if you can. So the great thing about being at home is that you could be barefoot, unlike in the class where you might not want to be barefoot on that floor. So spread the toes out and then send your pinky down and then drag the other toes towards center so that your big toe grounds down. And then maybe holding onto the chair, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes if that feels safe. If it doesn't, please don't go there. And then just notice if you're putting equal weight in both feet, or does one feel heavier than the other one? And if you feel like you're more on one foot than the other, what do you have to do to come back to center? And maybe notice if you're more in your heels or more in your toes. And if you feel like one or the other, what do you have to do to come back to center? Knees are just slightly bent, crown of the head rising. So this is your mountain pose, and then you can let go of the chair, open the eyes if you're not already. All right, we're gonna move through and come back to mountain pose. So we're just gonna move through a couple poses. Extended mountain, which could be both arms reaching, or you could have one hand connected to the chair. Okay. We're gonna sit back into chair pose, so arms are gonna come forward. Just don't sit all the way back, please. There's nothing back there, or unless there is. Good, so I could have one hand on the chair the whole time. I'm gonna pause there and then press back up. Inhale either one or both arms up, and then float the arms down by your side. Exhale, mountain pose. Pause there. Good. Rising up again, in breath. And out breath. Pause there. Inhale, exhale, rise up. When you get to the top, inhale. Arms sweep, float down, exhale. Pause here, mountain pose. I'm going to show the version with the hand reaching, connected to the chair. Inhale, exhale. Pause here. Exhale, rise up. Inhale, greet the sky. Exhale, arms come back down. Mountain pose. I'm just going to switch arms, so again, you can keep floating through, reaching both arms if that feels safe to you. Exhale, sit back, chair pose. Pause there. Exhale, rise. Inhale at the top. Exhale, float the arms down. Mountain pose, one breath. I invite you, if you know it's okay and safe for your body, to do this pose, downward facing dog or right angle. So I could be using the top of the chair, I'm gonna walk my feet back. I'm gonna keep the knees bent a bit. You'll see my back stays relatively flat. Knees bent or straight if you can keep them straight and keep your back flat. Now I could use a higher surface, like maybe my bookshelf. Maybe I do that at my bookshelf or something like that. So different furniture can work to support you. Full breath in if you're still there. Exhale. And then bend the knees, start to walk forward. You'll see my back stays relatively flat as I'm coming forward, and my head's going to be the last thing to join me at the top. Make sure your equilibrium is with you before you move. Okay. I'm going to turn the chairs off to my right side if you are using the chair. If you're sitting in the chair, just offset one foot in front of the other. So we're going to bring your right foot forward and the left foot's back a little bit. So if you're seated in the chair, that's all you have to do is try to find that. All right. Bending into the front knee, back foot stays grounded. We're going to reach left arm to the sky. Good. Exhale. Float that arm down, straighten the front leg. If you're seated, you'll be reaching the arms up. Inhaling up, gazing up. Exhale, arm comes back down, gaze down. If you feel safe enough to let the right arm go and reach it up with the left arm, you're welcome to, but please stay connected to your chair if that would feel safer. Good. 2 more. On the last one, we'll hold it. Next time up, we'll hold it there. Soften the arms a little bit. You can't see my hands, I'm going to bring them down lower. You find it maybe a mudra, index finger to thumb or middle finger to thumb, or just fingers reaching can count. This would be how it would look if I bring my right hand to the chair. One more breath if you're still with me. Good. Press that hand down, slowly straighten the front leg. Great. We're going to come back to center. Shake off a bit and find mountain pose. Find that equal weight between your feet. Full breath. All right. Let's take the right foot towards the chair if you're using it and step the left foot out. So my toes are facing that right chair and the left foot is roughly parallel, like if I was on a mat, you don't have to be, that it would be parallel to that short side. Go and let's do warrior 2 first because I normally do triangle. So you can bend into that front knee. You'll see mine is buttressing up against the chair. You could do that if you want a little extra balance and support, but you don't have to. We're going to send the left arm back. If you feel safe enough, maybe with that knee to the chair, the right arm can reach forward. If not, just keep holding. Good. Soften the arms, and maybe you're looking towards the screen right now, and if it feels okay and safe, start to slowly take your gaze, maybe pause 45 degrees, and then start to take your gaze a little bit more out towards your right hand. Good. Let's float the palms up, soften the shoulders. Keep pressing through that back foot. One more breath if you're still with me. Good. Turn the palms back down, take the arms down to grab onto the chair. Straighten the front leg, and then palms are going to flip forward. We're going to start to lean into that right side, and it's really like you're hinging at your hips instead of just collapsing again. Good. So arms are reaching, and you could be reaching from elbow or have your hand on your hip. Press the toes slightly to limit or reduce the hyperextension in the knee. Now, if you're looking towards the screen and you feel safe enough to slowly start to take that gaze upward towards the left, give it a try. One more breath if you're still with me. Good. Take the gaze slowly back to center. Bring the left arm back down, bend the right knee again, and exhale back up. Good. And then we'll heel toe or step it in. Find your little body adjustments and then meet me in mountain pose for one breath. pre-tree pose here. So maybe the chair is on your side, or maybe you've got a wall or a counter, it doesn't matter, something sturdy. I'm gonna have you take weight onto your right foot, and if you can, spread those toes out again. And then we'll take the left foot, and I'll ask you to either keep it toe planted, or you can lift it up. And then maybe flex the foot of that lifted foot. So if you're seated, you can try this, lifting your left knee upward. And if you aren't able to lift your legs, just imagine or try the effort without actually doing. Steady breath here. Please use that cue, kind of zipping up the tight pair of pants. So you're zipping up the tight pair of pants to get a little taller, but don't hold the breath. 3, 2, 1. Great. Back down. You can do a little shake off, a little standing hula, or seated hula if you are seated. All right. So that was our prep pose for tree pose. So spread the toes again of your right foot, either seated or standing. You're gonna offset the left, either toe plant, and then start to roll that knee out to the side. Now my sole of my foot is on my inner my inner ankle. You could lift it up to your inner calf if that is in your practice. We'll add a seed pod in, a half one. If you feel safe enough to let go of that chair on the right, come to a full seed pod. If you feel safe enough to let your branches grow, you're welcome to let your branches grow. Secret trick that I use in class is have people with their backs to the wall. So you could have your back to the wall with this and kind of have something to practice in. So if this was my wall, I would have something to hold me no matter what happened. I could just fall back into that wall. If your branches are reaching, start to bring them back in. Meet me back in seed pod. And then we'll come down, bring your leg back in, and then relax, shake it off. Mountain pose, one breath. All right, I'm gonna switch the chair around. You might as well, you might wanna do that, or you might just be able to turn around. We're off to the other side. So your left foot is going to be reaching forward this time. Your right foot is going to be back. So if you're in seated version, it would look something like that. All right, we'll bend into the front knee. Keep your left hand to the chair for now, if that feels okay. Reach the right arm up. In breath. Woo! Don't close your eyes if you're not steady. Exhale, come back to center. We'll go one more with the hand hold. Keep that left hand hold if you'd like, or you can join me by freeing it up, your choice. Good, 2 more. We'll meet on the last one. Okay, this one, we're gonna rise up. Soften, find a mudra, so index finger to thumb, or middle finger to thumb, or just reach those fingers. Again, you can always be connected to the chair at all times. Find some ease in the effort. One more breath if you're still with me. Good, we'll float the arms back down, straighten the front leg. Okay. Step it back together. Do a shake off if you need to, and then meet in mountain pose, one breath. Let's take this, never mind. It's trying to backtrack into my mind going, I forgot something. Okay, pause, rewind, come back to center. Take your left foot out towards the chair. It's facing the chair, step your right foot out so that the foot is parallel to a short side of a mat, even if you don't have a mat there. We'll start with the front knee bending into warrior 2 legs, so you can buttress that front knee up to the chair. Reach your right arm back. And if it feels safe enough to reach your left arm forward, give it a try. Soften the shoulders. If you're looking towards the screen, start to slowly take your gaze out to the left. So maybe stop at 45 degrees. And then slowly start to take it out towards your left hand. And let's flip the palms up and soften the elbows. hold on to whatever you were holding on to before. I've got piles of sand apparently. One more breath. Keep pressing through your toes just slightly. Good. Let's bring the arms back down. Straighten the front leg. We'll turn the palms forward, so I'm going to stay connected to that chair on that front side and start to reach over. Now if you have a really high back chair like a dining room chair, you can always just hold on to it like that. Or if you feel safe to let go and put it on your front thigh, you can do that. You're going to press into the toes just slightly to keep the knees from hyperextending. And if you're looking forward, maybe try looking to the right and up just a wee bit slowly. One more breath if you're still with me. Find some ease in the effort. And bend the front knee, bring the arms back down, and turn the gaze back to center. Okay. We'll heel toe or step it back in. Shake off what you need to, and then meet me in mountain pose. One breath. All right. Okay, we'll reset. Left foot's going to be your standing leg this time. Hold on to the chair, have the wall behind you. And we'll start to toe plant on the right foot, or you may lift that leg. If you're lifting it, flex the foot. Again, if you're in seated version, you can try to lift that leg just off the ground. Okay, just gonna hold here, zip up the tight pair of pants, and breathe. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great, bring it back down, do a bit of shake off, mountain pose, one breath. We're gonna re-firm up your roots on your left foot, so spread those toes out to the best of their ability. Start to take your weight onto that left foot and toe plant or lift the right. You can roll the knee out so that the inner side of that foot is along the inner calf or foot. Maybe you lift it up a little bit higher, your choice. Stay grounded. Keep hold of the chair, bring your right hand to seat pod. Stay there holding if you need that. Otherwise, we meet in full seat pod. If your branches or one of your branches would like to furl up, so I'll just show the reverse. Okay, great. Again, having a wall behind you can be really, this is my pretend wall, okay? Don't think that this is, I know what a wall is. So you could, when you start to waver, you have that wall behind you to catch you, so you can really practice the standing balance. Steady breath, steady gaze for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Start to bring your seat pod back in. We'll meet in the middle. Release the arms, release the leg, and maybe shake off. Meet in mountain pose, one full breath. All right. I'm going to invite you, if you want, to do another downward facing dog. So if you're in seated, it would look like a child's pose in seated. If you're in standing, hands can come to the chair. We're going to step back, hip hinging. Again, use any surface. A really kitchen counter can be nice because it's a little bit higher and more stable. Or maybe a dining room table. Bend the knees, untuck the tailbone, one full breath. And bend the knees, walking forward slowly. Your head's the last thing to join you at the top. Make sure your equilibrium is with you before you start to move. I'm going to bring the chair back to center and we're going to meet there. Make sure if you've got your strap or tie or dog leash to have that handy. Okay. If you're not already seated, let's try to go there with a bit of mindfulness. So feet about hip width apart. I'm going to start to head back into that chair pose. And if you need to find hand to chair to get there safely. Let's come with, if you've got your strap, it does help to be a little scooched forward in the front of your seat if you're able to. And let's hook the right foot. It doesn't really matter if you've already got your left foot hooked, it really doesn't matter. So heels to the ground, toes are coming towards you, and instead of like the first one where we were out to the angle, we're going to be right in front of you. Toes coming towards you, heels spreading away. And if it feels okay there, you just stop. That might be your stop point. If you're looking for something more, you can start to hinge in. I'm just going to show what that looks like from the side, perhaps go this way. So instead of just letting my back kind of curl and round, I'm keeping a little bit straight. So that the space from that right sit bone all the way to the right heel is spacious. Relax your jaw, your eyes, your shoulders. One more breath if you're still there. Exhale your way back up. So part of ahimsa or non-violence to your own body is coming out of a pose before I give the call. Switch feet. Strap, if you're using it, is around the ball of the foot. If you don't have a strap, just come into this position. You don't really absolutely need it. So we're sitting up tall. That might be enough. Remember, contentment. If you're looking for something more out of this, you can start to hinge forward. I'll just show the sideways version or the view of that. One more breath if you're still with me. If you're ready to rise up, come back up, meet back in the center. And we'll go that strap for the moment. And we'll meet in figure 4 stretch or seated pigeon. So let's take the right leg up if you've got the availability of the ankle to the thigh. What's great about being at home is that you can bump up your seat a little bit more. So if you feel like, you're like this, you're so tight in your hips, just put an extra pillow under your hips. It'll give you, this one's so squishy, it'll give you a little bit of lift so that you might have some space for that. So that's the awesome thing about being at home, is that you can make the chair fit you. I'm just gonna take it out because I might roll off. All right, so we're sitting up tall. That might be plenty. Contentment, we might be here. If you're looking for something more, you can start to hinge forward. Watch for the chin leading you and thinking that you're so far forward, and you are, but maybe just try to bring the chin just a little bit closer in. Think of there being maybe a ruler from the tailbone all the way up your spine to the back of your head. Ease the jaw, shoulders. One more breath. Your next breath out, we'll rise up. You can either slide that leg so you're sitting in that cross-legged position, or if you've got a block and you want to uncross the legs and just keep them as separate, or you can do it without a block. So I'm just going to show a blocked version. You're going to take your left hand to the outside of your right thigh and your right hand to the outside of the chair, your right hip. Coming into that very gentle twist here. Space from the collarbones all the way out to the shoulder tips is spacious, and you're breathing into that left side body. Next exhale, let's meet back in the center. All right, we'll head to the other side, and I'm sorry, I forgot to offer the alternative for if the leg does not come up here comfortably, then at least come into a cross-legged position where you're at least starting to get a little bit of rotation of that hip. So this might not be available today in this lifetime, and that's okay, just do something similar. And again, I promise if you lift your seat up a little bit higher, you're in a taller seat, it's going to be helpful. So we're sitting up tall, and that might be enough. If you're looking for a little bit more out of this, you can start to hinge forward. Again, chin drawn in slightly. Next exhales, let your shoulders and jaws relax. you're still with me. When you're ready, exhale, rise up. Slide that leg across, perhaps coming into cross-legged, or you can do the uncrossed version. For the crossed version this time, take your right hand to the outside of your right thigh, take your left hand to the outside of your left hip. Space from the collarbones out is spacious. And you're breathing into that now right side body. Relax your jaw, your eyes, your shoulders. One more breath if you're still with me. Back in the center. Let's finish for one last, think child's pose or child's pose, wisdom pose. So maybe your block is down there or step stool, or it doesn't have to be anything. You could stop here, that might be your spot. You might not want to go any farther. You could stop at the block. Say if you've got glaucoma or really fluctuating blood pressure, just don't let your head drop too low. Maybe just keep your head lifted. Osteoporosis and osteopenia, just keep a flatter back here. If none of that is a concern, you're welcome to drop down and just let your head relax. Full breath in, let your belly expand. Exhale, mouth open. Another one of those breaths if you're still there and you'd like it. If you're ready to come out, start to slowly walk back up. Your head's the last thing to join you at the top. All right, any last adjustments or movements? We're gonna head into, before we head into relaxation, coming into arms open. Good. Reaching outward, inhale, exhale, cross one elbow or arm over the other, wrap around, full breath in and out, maybe drop the head. Look which arm is on top because you're going to switch arms now. Inhale, open. Gather it all up. Exhale, cross the opposite arm over the top. Wrap around, gaze downward. Full breath in and out. Inhale, we'll open up. And meet the palms in the center, just where we started. Full breath in and out here. We're going to start to head into relaxation. I hope that you'll stay with us because we always finish with a mudra, a breath, and grab my mantra, a gratitude. All right, so sitting back in your chair, recliner, maybe feet are lifted, maybe they're not. You can always have another chair in front of you that's just holding up your legs as well. Arms can be resting down. Closed or open in a steady gaze, your choice. I'll take you through a brief guided relaxation. We'll rest for some quiet, and then you'll start to hear the bell chime 1, 2, and 3. That doesn't mean you have to immediately pop back up. You're just going to slowly come out with me. Let's let go of those eyes, broadening and softening. Temples, eyes heavy, head heavy. Joint of the jaw releasing, creating space between your teeth and letting go of your tongue. Shoulders easing out of your ears. Thoughts, and as soon as you notice you're following the next thought train, just immediately drop it. Gone. And use that as an opportunity to come back to where you notice the breath moving in and moving out. Maybe you're going to pick the nostrils or the belly, the chest. Because right now you've got nowhere to be and nothing to do. These next few moments are yours. That next breath, becoming a bit more conscious. Maybe a bit deeper, so you'll feel the belly expand, the middle ribs, the space around the heart. This kind of 3-part breath, and then the slow, steady exhale. How slow can you go? It's in those slower exhales that we can find a sense of calm. Use it wisely. All right, if there's any final mindful movements that you enjoy, I always take you through some. You don't have to do anything. You could strum the tips of the thumbs along the tip of each finger as though you were just feeling your fingerprint for the very first time. You could curl in your fingers and your toes and kind of tense up your whole body, and then on your exhale, release it. It's called progressive relaxation. To no opposites, yes. All right, maybe rolling the shoulders or rocking the head side to side. Any little movements that you enjoy, maybe a cat stretch or a dog stretch. I'm not partial. Maybe you bring one knee into your chest if that's available, and the other one. Okay, and then we'll meet back up in the center. I've been using Boo Mudra this week, which is connected to the ground. So I'm going to have you just reach through your arms with your finger, your index finger and your middle finger reaching out or down, and the arms lengthen, the spine tall, as though you were pressing the floor away from you. So the arms can come out a little bit to the sides. If that's uncomfortable for any reason, just rest them down closer to you. As you inhale, you're going to press the floor. Imagine you're pressing the floor away from you, reaching the crown of the head. Settle the shoulders down and back. Exhale. Keep breathing and reaching down to up. I'm going to say with a mantra here. May I be stable like a mountain. May I be strong like a mountain. May I rise like a mountain. May I be stable like a mountain. May I be strong like a mountain. May I rise like the mountain. From Boo Mudra, I feel like I got a little taller there and wider. All right, let's meet in gratitude hands. So palms either coming together in Namaste or Anjali Mudra, or Hijraya, which is one hand covering heart. Bowing to a place within you where you recognize gratitude, to silently acknowledge at least one more thing in your life to be grateful for today. All right, I hope that list is mighty long, but we'll come to an end, sending these arms outward and upward, offering gratitude. Oh, baby. Palms coming together and holding on to that gratitude real close, at least for the rest of the day. I'll once to seal the deal. If you want to join in, you may, or just listen. I'll never know. Hopefully I'll feel your vibration. All right, slow breath in. Slow breath out. Slow breath in to Om. Om. In and breathing out. Namaste. To the moon, to the sun, and to the earth, and to all of you, thank you so much for being here. You have a wonderful day. I've linked the Pema Chodron When Things Fall Apart link in the description down below. That's the passage that I shared this morning earlier in the practice. So if you didn't hear that, you came in late, just go back and listen. And then for those that are mastic students, I checked with Ed this morning, and some were asking about refunds and how that was happening. So any of your classes that were canceled through Mastic or Alameda Parks and Rec are actually being credited to you. So you're gonna have a credit in your account to use for future classes, and that will never expire. So if you were expecting a check or some kind of refund that way, that's not coming. You're gonna have a credit to take future classes. Okay, so I hope that clears that up. All right, take good care, and I'll see you next time.